Greetings. This is TK Trav, aka Travis Magus, here with LVX777. Oftentimes, the most impactful and deepest truths are pretty hard pills to swallow because they rub against what we're used to, they rub against what we're comfortable with. And one of these truths that I like to point out is the fact that control is an illusion. We don't control anything. And there are a lot of people who put the foundation of security and comfort on this idea that they're in control of their lives, that they're in control of the situations around them. So what do I mean by this? What do I mean that control is illusion? Because certainly we want to be in control of everything. We want to be in control of our income and our health and our relationships. I guess this would best be illustrated by a story. In an impromptu consultation with somebody who I love very much, we begin to talk, right? There's a situation where her and her brother have had a pretty decent relationship. They love each other, but there have been many, many years in their adult lives, from the teenage to adult lives, where they haven't been in the same vicinity, right? Because one is in the military and one's off doing their own thing. And she often felt like she lost a lot of time with him. Well, certain circumstances have happened, and now he's moved in with her. And she's rejoicing because she feels that she has him there now. And she really wants to use this as an opportunity to show him that there are better things in life. You know, she wants to show that her and her husband have a wonderful relationship. She wants to show that, you know, they have this stable home, stable household, you know, different things like that. And through talking, she would reveal to me how, you know, how her father wasn't really there because she feels that he was taken away from her because he had to go to prison for a while, right? And the next male figure that she had in her life, which was an uncle, she feels that he was taken from her as well. So she developed this complex in her life that if there's an important masculine figure in her life, he's going to be taken away from her. So that's going to cause two things, right? Because trauma is a deep impactor of the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind generates your reality. So since she feels that any important male in her life is going to be taken away, it's going to cause her to cling very hard to the males that she does have. It's also going to cause her to push away subconsciously certain males that she's interested in because she doesn't want to lose them. And I think a lot of females feel this way as well. A lot of females who don't have that masculine figure, they find themselves clinging onto a relationship despite the fact that it may not be good for them. And they also find themselves pushing away certain males because they don't want to lose them. This is an important reason why we need to go back in and work on our traumas so they don't control our lives and they don't control our decisions. But anyways, through more discussion, we began to find that she had this deep-seated need to control the circumstances in her life. She felt that she needed to be in control. In her job, she has a position where she feels that she's in control of people because she's a little higher up on the food chain. But she since has moved on from that profession, and she's having to adjust life now, not being in control of other people. So she's learning that life happens the way it happens regardless of our input, right? She wasn't in control of the situation that led to her brother moving in with her. She wasn't in control of the situation with her father or her uncle or any other male figure. So we began to talk, and she began to talk about how much she wanted to be a good example for him, that she wanted him to see that this type of lifestyle was possible. She wanted him, and I had to kind of stop her in the middle of her conversation. You have such emphasis on trying to control the people and the situations in your life, but where this pain comes from is that you're clinging to this notion that you have control. We don't have control. We don't have control over our circumstances, right? We don't have control over how the organs work in our body. It's being controlled by something else. Different parts of the brain, of course. We don't have any control over how another person sees us or takes our actions, right? You can easily find that out by sending a text message, that could be taken the wrong way. We don't have control over anything, right? Things happen the way that they're going to happen. We damn sure don't have any control over other people. All that we have control over is how we respond and how we react to the situations that are presented to us. Because when analyzing her situation, I began to point out that while it is a noble and an ideal thing that you're doing, you're wanting to show him this balanced household, right? Because, they both had the situation with their father not being there. While she was wanting to show him that, I kind of had to point out to her that that's really gratification for herself. That's really her running to pleasure, right? Because human beings run to pleasure and run from pain. Because she wanted to feel the satisfaction and the gratification of showing him, right? Of teaching him, of being the one to present this positive example. She can't control how he takes that. He might not even be paying attention to it. He might not even be there for long. All we can control is what and how we respond in the moment. She feels the need to cling on to him now that they have their relationship, now that they're together. But the important thing is, I pointed out that it's best to just enjoy what you have now, right? Forget about the past where you felt that there was a situation where you didn't have time together, that you were losing so much time with him. Enjoy what you have now, because now, the present, this is the only moment that exists. And if you find yourself looking at what could happen, the what ifs, and what you're trying to avoid, and what you're trying to prepare for, and all these other situations, you're not living in the now, you're not living in the present. You're in the past, or you're in the future. You're in your head. You're not present, right? Because all these things that you're thinking about, trying to avoid or prevent or make happen, these are based off of memory, which is based off of trauma, right? Trying to control the situation is you trying to prevent an experience of pain, or to trying to drive to an experience of pleasure. You're not living in the moment when you're doing that. Control is an illusion. Things happen the way that they're supposed to. It's part of a much bigger cycle than your body or your mind have control over. You'll find that as these coincidences and these synchronicities begin to appear, that's not your body causing that. That's not your mind causing that. That is spirit causing that. Spirit is in control. It's in control of mind. Mind is in control of body. So just like body follows mind, mind follows spirit. This is why we have to trust the intuition. This is why we have to trust that gentle voice that nudges us in a particular direction. And to acknowledge the difference between intuition and thought, there's a clear difference. Thought is concerned about pleasure and pain. Intuition knows. And you can only learn about this voice through experience. So the main thing I want to point out is that worrying about and stressing over trying to control a situation is a waste of energy. You're going to find that that's a cycle you're going to keep running into over and over and over again. And despite proof that you're not in control of anything other than how you react, despite proof to that, people still fill their days, minutes, hours, and months trying to control situations. Now, of course, I'm not saying just, throw everything into the wind, fuck it. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying don't stress out over the fact that something is not going your way. Learn to be flexible. Learn to move with the flow of life. Be aware of situations. Be aware of cycles. Be aware of what you're doing and how it may affect others and how it may affect yourself. Of course, have common sense here. But don't get worked up about trying to control what other people are going to do, say, or think, right? All you can control is how you react. But I feel that that might be something that somebody needs to hear. People generally feel that they have a need to control a situation because of some trauma that happened as they were younger. They may have lost something that caused them a lot of pain. But I began to ask her, how is it that you lost your father or you lost your uncle, in your words? How is that you lost them if you never possessed them? You can't lose something that you never have possessed. We don't possess anything, right? We don't even possess these bodies. They're not ours. That's why you have no control over the fact that you're aging. Time's ticking away. You don't have any control over some bizarre accident happening or this, that, or a third. Life happens. It's about how you react to it. And furthermore, you can't control the situation from the outside. That's the ironic thing. A lot of us stress over controlling our lives based on outside things, trying to control the objects and the situations. But in truth, the outside is a reflection of the inside. The only way that your life is going to change is when you change the inside. When you begin to adjust and exercise some level of control over how you react to the world begins to transform to reflect this internal change. Her brother was in a situation with a female, right? They're sharing a home. But the vibration, the frequency of this person was low and getting lower. And this person was trying to ascend, was trying to discover more about his soul and have more connection with himself. Well, this other person was not. So of course there began to be a schism. And what you'll find is that as you are working to improve yourself and raise your vibration by reaching towards a higher goal, the things around you will start to shift. And if your environment is not qualified to move upward, it's either going to pull you down or you're going to rise above it. This is how your world changes. Not from changing the outside things, but changing your intent. If you're on the path, if your heart is set, if your intent is set on spiritual evolution and getting to know your higher self, getting to know yourself, right? Truly learning, not just for being pleased by your senses, not just for likes on the internet, and not just to look or sound cool. If you're really doing this for self-improvement and getting to know your soul, you'll find that your world will begin to change. It will begin to reflect this newfound passion that you've acquired and are exercising. This is why certain people will begin to have more problems with you, because they are being resistant to your pull. As you rise, things around you rise, and others can feel it vibrationally. And if they don't like it, if they're afraid to move forward, if they don't have the light within them to move forward, there's going to be friction. And this is, again, where you're going to have either that 9 spiral up or that 6 spiral down. It will happen in all your relationships. The more that you rise, more people will begin to fall away. And you'll begin to attract others. But for the most part, you're going to have to release people and things. That includes vehicles, homes, that includes clothing and all types of things around you that you identify with who you are. You're going to have to lose a lot of these things, but it's not losing them. You're moving them out so something greater can move in. So back to the possessing of people. How can you lose somebody if you've never possessed them? Everyone has their own path that they're walking. And if they're choosing to go down this 6 spiral, if they're choosing to continue down a path that is more material and more sensual based, and you're trying to go upward into a spiritual path, there will be a schism and a split. It's just the way it is. As your frequency rises, they cannot stand it. Or the things around you that aren't willing to move upward, it's just not going to vibe. There's not going to be harmony. There's going to be dissonance. And in this existence, everything is harmonious. That's why there's this constant shifting of things going up and things going down. So we don't lose people. We don't lose people because we never own them. Everyone has their own path. And what happens, happens because it was supposed to happen. There's no mistakes, there's no accidents. Everything happens the way it's supposed to, period. Even if it doesn't feel good. Even if it doesn't feel good. Because there's a greater scale to things that's beyond what your body is going through and beyond what your mind is perceiving. There's a greater scale of things. There's a bigger scheme at play. And we can't see what's happening down the road from our ego perspective. I don't know what's going to happen when I walk out this door, but Spirit knows. And this is why we have to submit to Spirit and listen to Spirit, because Spirit nudges you into the place that you're supposed to go. And the more that you exercise submission to Spirit, listening to Spirit, the easier it is that you'll be able to flow and be flexible with life's surprises. So if you really have issues with needing to control everything, you're going to want to work on your root chakra, right? You're going to really want to do some work with chakra meditation and examining why it is that you really feel like you need to control things. Keep asking why until the emotions come up. Don't just ask why once and be like, oh, okay, that's why. No, keep digging. Why is it that I feel that I need to control people? Well, I want to make sure that I'm safe. Why do I want to make sure I'm safe? Oh, because I don't want anything bad to happen. Why don't I want anything bad to happen? Well, there was this time when I was a kid and XYZ. See how that works? The road to self-discovery is not a walk in the park. It's not a breeze. It's going to be challenging because our egos are so fragile, so fragile. But the ego has to be broken in order for spirit to thrive. Attachment causes suffering, especially attachment to ego. Attachment to who we think we are and the things that we think define us. Attachment to these things causes suffering. Just exist as you are. Be as you are. Reach ever towards the goal of enlightenment, of liberation. But understand that as long as you're on that path, you're in the right place. Don't try to do anything super special. Don't compare yourself to someone else. Appreciate where you are right now. Look around at the things that you have and find a way to be happy. Find a way to be appreciative. Find a way to cherish the things that you have. Because where your attention goes, energy flows. As within, so without. As above, so below. If you keep yourself in a vibration or a frequency, because a frequency is how frequently you do a thing. If you keep yourself in a vibration or a frequency of thanksgiving, of gratefulness, of love, right? Things of that nature, you begin to find that the outside will reflect that. If you keep yourself in a place of fear, of anger, of hating on people, of being jealous and envious, etc., 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 you're going to keep manifesting situations that will continue to remind you of those feelings. Look, it's all about thought. It's all about where your focus is. So please, if you want to control anything, control that. So, I believe that the message was in there and it was received. This is TK Trav, aka Travis Magus, here with LVX777. I love you guys. Get ready for Meditation March. Starts tomorrow. Peace.